My name is Derek Smith. I started guiding in 2007 out of a passion to show off the area I lived in the Boyne Valley. I grew up climbing castles and monasteries and abbeys and wanted to share my passion with people from all over the world. I love to show people the stuff that people don't get to see, the off the beaten track places. I love sharing local culture, history, mythology, local foods, arts and crafts. Local crafts are very important. Also, just really, I love bringing around families and multi-generations on tours, so I can tailor the tours to their interests as well. Really, getting to share the country that you love with people from all over the world is not only as a part of a job I do today, but it was always a thing I always wanted to do from day one. And now that I get to share with people from all over the world, I feel like my job is one of the best in the world. My goal as a tour guide is when we meet in the morning, whenever I meet you, or beforehand in conversation on email or whatever, that we get to create a unique experience for you, your family, and make the tour as enjoyable as possible, but also to share my love for the culture, the love for my country. I also want to learn about your country when you're with me too. And also, mostly when I do tours with people over the last 12 years, the majority of people either come back to me, send friends, refer people to me as well. I want to share my experience of climbing, exploring, making the tours as enjoyable, as easy going as it is for you as possible, and make sure I hit all the places that you want to see, but also show you some of the places that another guide would never show you. Because they don't know they exist. Growing up in areas, you get to explore not only the most popular sites that are in areas to visit, but also off the beaten track kind of places, hidden away that no one knows, and they offer a unique experience for a tour. What makes me different between other guides is my unique experience of growing up in the most historical part of Ireland, the Boyne Valley. Not only has it got a beautiful river running through called the Boyne, and it's very famous for the Battle of the Boyne, it's got passage tombs, burial tombs, monasteries, abbeys, castles, the largest castle in Ireland, Trim. But I grew up on exploring on my bike from the age of 10, 11, 12, all the little side roads and hidden away alleyways, and found ruins of monasteries I didn't know existed. And although I was quite good at school in history, I was more of an explorer than listening all the time to my teacher telling me dates. Dates are important, of course, but also making it in context of where you're going to explore. It's very easy to read about a site, and you can go with anybody to a site and go to these places, some of the places that we go on tours, but to get that unique local experience, you have to book with somebody like me, someone that has lived through the Boyne Valley, still lives today, is willing to learn, is willing to explore. In the off season, I go exploring off side roads and back roads and talk to local people. I bring people to local craft shops that are 300 years old, farms that are still going over 300 years, local traditions of food. Always bring local food. The Boyne Valley region itself is a foodie destination today. It's won awards all over the world for the best local food, local produce, organic, grown on the site, and never leaves within a 5 mile to 10 mile radius of the farm. So I really want to explore. I want people to come here and get that unique experience of not only the culture, the history, the mythology, the food, but I also want to get them from my perspective as a local guide. I'll give you an example of one of the funny stories that happened on one of my tours with some lovely people from Philadelphia. I was after tracing their ancestors to a local graveyard and brought them down to this local place, and found their graves and their ancestors going back to the 18th century. So we all crossed the gate. There was a load of sheep in the field, so we crossed by the sheep, and of course everybody was walking into the graveyard, and I could see the ram. The ram was further down the field, and he was eyeing us up because we were getting in between him and what he wanted. So we crossed into the graveyard. I found their ancestor grave, and I said, listen, we're going to have to move after about 5 minutes because I could see the ram coming towards us. So of course everybody moved, of course, for the one sister who decided, no, I'll stay here, I'll be grand to get some more pictures. Of course we all make it across the field, and I could see the ram coming towards the lady. The ram goes to run at her, tries to knock her over. She jumps up on the grave, she's standing on the grave, her brothers and sisters are in hysterics. And they're saying, what are we going to do? And I says, listen, you're going to have to go and get her. And they said, no, she never listens to us. So this is going to have to happen. She's going to have to learn her lesson. I said, well, if that ram gets hold of her, she's in trouble. So of course, who has to go and get her? Me. So I cross the field, I have a little stick. The ram is coming at me, I'm waving the stick at him. Of course, the brothers and sisters are in stitches laughing. She's in panic stations. She doesn't know what's going to happen. So as I'm bringing her back towards the field to get across to the gate, the ram makes a run at us. And I said, run. And she ran, and of course she slipped on cow crap. Slipped onto a big cow patty, fell flat on her face. Our brothers and sisters are in absolute stitches laughing. They're taking pictures of her, she's getting up, and there's cow pats all over the place. And so getting back to the whole way back to Dublin from where we were took about an hour, but all we could say was the windows are open the whole way back to Dublin, and our brothers and sisters are still messaging me about that story today. So that's some of the stories you can get on a tour.